Hello viewers and welcome. Here is the final part in our series on the critical mistakes made in industrial accident investigation. Today, I want to talk about breaking the bias. Investigation teams that challenge. I once watched a safety manager investigate an incident in his own department. Good investigator. Experienced. Thorough. His conclusion? The worker had failed to follow a procedure that, it turned out, nobody in that department had followed for 2 years, including the safety manager himself. He couldn't see it. Not because he was incompetent, because he was too close. His assumptions, his blind spots, his normalization of deviation, all invisible to him. I'm Wayne Sundberg. Today I'm going to explain why single investigator approaches fail, and how building the right team fundamentally changes investigation quality. Let's be straight about what we're dealing with. Every investigator carries bias. Every single one. Including me. Including you. Confirmation bias means you notice evidence that supports what you already believe, and filter out what contradicts it. Decide the worker was careless, and you'll find carelessness everywhere you look. Hindsight bias makes past events seem inevitable. They should have known is easy to say once you know what happened. In the moment, with the information available, the outcome wasn't obvious at all. Outcome bias leads you to judge decisions by their results rather than their quality. A worker makes a reasonable call under uncertainty. It goes wrong, and suddenly that reasonable decision becomes reckless behavior. And then there's professional bias. Engineers find engineering failures. Safety professionals find safety failures. Supervisors find supervision failures. We find what we've been trained to look for. A single investigator carries all of these biases unchallenged. A good team exposes them. So, how do you construct a team that actually challenges bias? First, diversity of function. You need people who see the world differently. An engineer, an operator, a supervisor, a safety professional. Each brings a different lens. Each asks different questions. Each notices what the others miss. Second, diversity of proximity. Include someone close to the work. They understand operational reality. But also include someone distant from it. They'll see what familiarity has rendered invisible to everyone else. Third, diversity of seniority. Junior staff often see what senior people have learned to ignore. They haven't yet absorbed the way things are done here. That's an asset, not a limitation. The ideal investigation team is not a group of people who agree. It's a group of people who respectfully disagree and work through that disagreement to find something closer to the truth. Even with the right team, you need structured peer review. Here's how to make it work. Review must happen before conclusions are finalized, not after. Present finished findings and ask any comments, and you'll get polite agreement. Present evidence and draft analysis asking what are we missing, and you'll get genuine challenge. Use specific review questions. Is there evidence that contradicts this finding? Have we considered alternative explanations? What assumptions are embedded in this analysis? Would this conclusion hold without hindsight? Require every reviewer to identify at least one concern or alternative interpretation. When challenge is mandatory, no one is being difficult. They're doing their job. And document the review. Record who reviewed, what was raised, and how each point was resolved. That creates accountability. It also demonstrates the rigor that serious investigations demand. Here's where it gets difficult. Building a culture where challenge is expected, not resented. Most organizations say they want challenge. In practice, they punish it. The investigator who questions the senior manager's preferred theory doesn't get invited back. The team member who surfaces inconvenient evidence gets labeled difficult. You have to actively protect challenges. When someone raises an alternative explanation, the response must be, "Thank you, let's examine that," not "We've already looked at that." Separate people from positions. The evidence doesn't support that interpretation is a different conversation from "you're wrong." Keep the focus on evidence, not ego. And lead by example. When you're the senior investigator, invite challenge to your own conclusions. "I think this is the cause, but what might I be missing?" That single question changes the entire dynamic. I'll be direct, you won't always have a team. Budget constraints. Availability. Minor incidents that don't warrant a multi-person investigation. When you're working alone, you need techniques to challenge yourself. First, write down your initial hypothesis before you start investigating. Then actively look for evidence that disproves it. If you can't find any, that's a warning sign. You likely stopped looking too soon. Second, mortem. Use a pre-mortem. Imagine the investigation is complete and your findings are wrong. What caused that failure? Work backwards from the imagined error to identify your blind spots now, while you can still do something about them. Third, find a devil's advocate. Ask a colleague to review your findings with explicit instruction to challenge them. Give them permission, even obligation, to disagree. Fourth, sleep on it. The conclusion that seems airtight at 5 p.m. Friday often reveals gaps by 9 a.m. Monday. Time creates distance. Distance reduces bias. Let me raise something that makes people uncomfortable. Sometimes the bias problem is structural. If you're investigating an incident in your own department, your own site, your own project, you have a conflict of interest. Your findings may implicate your colleagues, your decisions, your systems. That's not a character flaw, it's a fact. For serious incidents, external support matters. Not because internal investigators are incompetent, but because proximity compromises objectivity, even with the best intentions. At minimum, serious incidents should involve someone from outside the affected area, cross-departmental, cross-site if possible. Someone whose professional relationships aren't entangled with the outcome. This isn't about distrust. It's about acknowledging that we all have limits. The best investigators are the ones who know theirs. You cannot think your way out of your own blind spots. By definition, you can't see them. The answer isn't trying harder. It isn't more experience, though experience helps. It's other people. People who see differently. People who have both the permission and the obligation to tell you when you're wrong. An investigation shaped by one person's assumptions produces findings that confirm those assumptions. An investigation shaped by genuine challenge produces findings that might actually be true. Your bias is invisible to you. Make it visible through others. Thank you for watching this short series on the critical mistakes made in industrial accident investigation. If your organization is serious about understanding why accidents happen, and more importantly, how to stop them happening again, we're here to help. At Industrial Accident Investigators, we bring decades of expertise, rigorous methodology, and complete impartiality to every investigation. We don't just document what went wrong. We uncover the root causes, identify the system failures, and give you the clear, actionable findings you need to protect your people and your business. Whether you're responding to a serious incident, strengthening your safety culture, or seeking an independent expert review, our team is ready to support you. Get in touch today. Visit our website, send us an email, or call our Covent Garden office. Let's work together to make your workplace safer. Because at Industrial Accident Investigators, we investigate to prevent, not just to report.